Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I am Sanobar Syed. I am head teacher of a primary school named Government Girls Community Model School, Garam Chashma, and I am representing Pakistan in the primary cohort. So before going towards the main problem, I would like to share with you a childhood experience of mine. When I was a kid, I learned to read English text pretty quickly. And I always wondered why can't the other kids do it like I did. It was difficult for me to understand it at that time. But with my 3 years experience in teaching and with the school's human-centered design approach, I clearly understood that every child's needs, interests, and experiences are different. So they should be addressed accordingly to improve their learning experiences. This problem of reading English text has always been a challenge in this society. And in my school, most of the students were struggling with reading English texts fluently, and they were also struggling with comprehension. I found out this through my personal observation, and I developed a quantitative data for this by giving my students a standard text from their own textbook, and then I made them read that text, and on the basis of that I developed this quantitative data, which says that 22.2% of the students were fluent, 33.3% read with some difficulty, 22.2% made a lot of mistakes, and 22.2% were completely unable to read the text, and 100% of them, they were not able to comprehend the text. So to dive deep into the problem and to learn its causes and to cater the problem, I interviewed 2 students from the extreme categories and their mothers, and I inferred that the child who was low performing and her mother, they were too much invested in the child's education, but she couldn't help it because the child can't find the motivation and she needed help with learning English text at home, which of course the mother was not able to provide her because she is uneducated. So in order to respond the students' identified need, I developed 2 prototype models, which are these, and between these two I chose the second one, and I dropped the first one based on its desirability, feasibility, and its sustainability. I chose the second option and I applied it in my classroom. The second prototype is basically a card game. One of my assumptions about the card game was that the children will take interest in it and they will play it by themselves even in the absence of the teacher. And here you can see in this picture that assumption has turned into reality. There is this second picture where you can have a glimpse of the classroom environment in my school. Here you can see that a single teacher is teaching multiple grades in the same classroom, and in such kind of environment a play like card game is a game changer. Now here in this slide you can see the concept map of the whole game. You can see it here. So starting from the first step, the students were required to bring sight words and their meaning, seeking help from their family members and their neighbors. Then in school, I gave them 10 minutes before recess to memorize those words, spelling and their meaning, and then they had to reproduce them for me without any aid or help. and on the basis of how fast they are able to reproduce the word, they were getting turns at the swing. And in the play area near the swings, sentences made from those words and their translations were displayed so that the children could see the sentences and their translations and read them while they play in the play area. This whole process from words collection to sentence development, this continues throughout the week, and at the end of the week on Fridays the students were allowed to make cards from those words and play those cards. Those cards are actually letter cluster cards, in which suppose this is one of the word brought by a student. Now what they do is that they break down this word into two letter clusters. See, it's the word is school, and they break this down into two letter clusters. Here you can see SCH and double OL written on different cards. So after doing this for every word they have collected during the week, they play these cards from that Friday to the next Friday, and on the next Friday these cards are being replaced by new cards. So this is the whole process. And here in this picture you can see the children playing the card, and they are very engaged and very interested. And in this picture you can see that they are playing the same cards in a different way from the previous picture. And here you can see that all the other girls, they are playing the game, and a boy from pre-primary is sitting in between among them, and he is keenly observing them so that he can also learn to play the game. So besides learning to read English from this activity, the children also learn to communicate. They led the students who were not able to play the game. They collaborated with each other from the start of the game to the end of the game by interacting with each other. They developed social skills by interacting with their siblings at home, by playing with them, by playing this game with them at home and at school with their peers. And it is a self-directed learning, so they also learn self-dependency. Thank you.